4 years ago, you would not wanted to have known me then. I was a wretch. Thought I was smarter than the average bear. Thought I knew everything. You couldn't tell me anything. You could say the sky is blue. I said, no, it's not. The sky is green. I think I remember my first drink I had when I was 14. Unfortunately for me, it took for me to get ill, for me to become ill behind my addiction. And so I did it to myself. My illness came about because of my abuse of alcohol. I couch surfed for a while, then became completely homeless by living in the parks. I haven't owned anything of my own in over 10 years, other than what was on my back and in my backpack. The little crew I had that we were all living together in the park, we relied on each other for our own safety because we looked out for each other. But living on the streets is not living. Me and my crew, we would watch Christ in the City missionaries make their rounds around the park. And then finally they'd come, we'd say, yep, here they come. And they had to cross the field, across the park just to get to us. They never took any shortcuts. They always talked to everybody in the park.
He would always smile, and he was always very joyous and cheerful in the midst of suffering. He claims he wasn't good to be around, but like even when he was having off days, like we just enjoyed being with him and his crew.
With their consistency of being a friend and not preaching, not judging, but yet being consistently there. Rain, snow, sun, shine, whatever, wind, whatever, consistently there. And you have to respect that in a person who does that. Can't explain it. I don't know what it takes to do that. I'm in awe.
To be at Christ in the City means to be unafraid and to be bold and to be, fearless in your work and unafraid to be messy.
The work that I see the missionaries do in the actual going out, in the intentional love that they hold, just to see someone, to know their story and to say, we're here to listen, we're here, for some of your basic needs, but ultimately because we see you have dignity. I think that gets right to the heart of the problem of the city in certain ways, and people who are lost or found.
It was in December. We found him one day, just like on a bench, and he was like hunched over and at a very low point in his life. The poisoning from the alcohol like yellowed his eyes, but even more agonizingly is like his eyes were just dead. He ended up at the hospital. The missionaries actually called the ambulance to take him there.
Hopped in the car with two missionaries I'd never met before, and we went on the road down to, I think it was Denver Health. I was like, all right, when we entered, we go in and just grab his hand and say, Roy, we're here. And his squeeze back let you know, like, he appreciates it, he sees it. I just remember seeing his body on the hospital bed, rolling around, really in pain. And every now and then he'd try to speak, but he'd just be riddled with the pain.
They were there, they prayed with me, over me, all night long. My family wasn't there. My friends at that current time weren't there. But Christ in the City was with me. And I was like on my last breath. And they were holding my hands, praying with me. And at that point, I just very simply asked God, if you give me another chance, then I will follow the righteous path and do what I can do in following the righteous words of God. And from that point, everything turned overnight.
I felt like doubting Thomas because my street team came back and they're like, Nick, you have to see Roy. He's doing so good. He's he's like alive, like more than just like physically, like but interiorly. And I believed him, but I was like still like, how can this be? This man was at a pretty low point less than 2 months ago.
I think the human experience of hitting rock bottom, and I think it's evident in Roy's experience too, is that when we hit the bottom, we actually hit reality, which is all our structures, comforts, and all of the things we place around ourselves to feel like, I'm okay, I've got this under control. Once those are stripped away, the only thing we can do is say, Father, like a child. I mean, it makes us humble, it makes us dependent, it makes us childlike. It forces it on us. And so I think it's such a testament to the dramatic need he had for a Savior, and then the dramatic appearance of that Savior.
I see the power of God through Christ in the city. And that has been one of the greatest transformations in my life.
Those next couple months, we spent a lot of time just being with him, explaining like the faith and inviting him to Mass with us, walking with him as he started to reconcile relationships with his daughters. He had gotten sober. He had made the choice to stay sober too.
My kids understand me better now because I'm not as tumultuous as I was before. And they see that, and they're like, yep, that's Dad again. Dad is back.
We just continued to grow in friendship. We got coffee. We just spent time together, shared life together. I knew that like he's a huge Broncos fan, and it would mean the world to him if we could get tickets.
And Nick had texted our group chat and asked if anyone happens to have any connection to Broncos tickets. And my brother had just shared that he oftentimes gets these types of tickets through work. Really, a week later, he texted me and said, hey, I just forwarded you to your email 4 Broncos tickets for next Sunday.
It was just beautiful, like surprising him with that. We told him this in the car. I was like, Roy, like, what are your plans for the Sunday afternoon? And he's like, well, I'm free. And I was like, okay, well, you go to the Broncos game this weekend.
You talk about the ultimate surprise. And he just said, you're going to the Broncos game on Sunday.
His reaction was truly, it's indescribable. It was so tender, it was so real, it was so raw. He just could not believe that we had gone out of our way to scrounge up these tickets for him. He immediately said he was going to take his jersey to the dry cleaners to be ready for Sunday.
My daughter bought me a Broncos shirt, has my name embossed on the back, and my birthday, number 14, and the picture for the Broncos up there on my wall, me, Nick, Drew, Mary, and it was amazing. I can't thank him enough. The consistency of it, being friends, and when they become friends with you and you allow them to be your friend, it doesn't go away. I can wholeheartedly say that. I couldn't get rid of them in my life. I couldn't get rid of any of you all in my life if I tried. I'd be like, okay, you guys come back now, you hear?
It's ultimately knowing that you're a part of a community that says, I'm here and I will remain here. I'm with you, despite the ups and downs, but I choose to stand with you. And what that says to a person's heart is, it sinks in more and more deeply the truth of the Father's love, which is, I love you and I'm going nowhere. So if a missionary can be here for a year or 2, or even just a summer of volunteering, and in the face of community, in the face of another person, they can experience that truth sink in just a little bit more, that would be absolutely transformative for the rest of their life, for their vocation, for marriage, for ministry, whatever it might be.
There's a lot of work to be done to get a lot of the people who are good people off of the streets. And it's going to be never ending, but we have to do our part.
We helped move his stuff over and get him furniture, but I still remember like the first thing he wanted to do was hang up the Divine Mercy image.
he will always give the glory back to God. He will always say, I shouldn't be here, I don't deserve this. But he will always say, but God is so good to me.
This is week 3 of this new residence. I'm still getting used to it. I feel like my soul is at peace.